A warm welcome to all my students. Today we will start with extension of British rule in India. In this chapter we will learn about Anglo-Maratha Wars, the consolidation of British rule. The next one is non-succession right of for the adopted children, subsidiary alliance, and the last one is Anglo-Sikh War. These are the topic what you are going to learn in this lesson. So in this lesson you will be learning about the Anglo-Maratha War. 3 Anglo-Maratha War you will learn in this session. British entered into India as a trader. They saw the wealth and the raw material available in our country, and they also felt this is a suitable place for their market to sell their finished product. So they decided to expand or conquer India. So first thing is they decided to defeat all the European powers which had occupied their places in India. They were successful in defeating the European powers such as Dutch, Portuguese, French. The French they defeated in the 3 Karnataka War. After that, they decided to expand their kingdom. To expand the kingdom, they decided to defeat the Indian rulers. So first battle they fought with the Indian ruler was Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey helped them to conquer Bengal. After that, Battle of Buxar, which helped them to occupy entire Bengal. So later, they decided to conquer other places in India. So gradually, they decided to expand their empire. So they started waging the war in the midst of 18th century to mid of 19th century, mainly intention to expand their empire in India. They also adopted many cunning way to expand their kingdom. They introduced many policy, and those policy were subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. British adopted 3 expansion policy to extend their empire in India. The first one was waging repeated wars, and the next one is subsidiary alliance, and the last one doctrine of lapse. So they adopted these policy and they started expanding their empire in India, and this started during the mid of 18th century to mid of 19th century. So you can see they have fought 3 Anglo-Maratha War, 4 Mysore War, and 2 Anglo-Sikh War. So in this chapter, you will be learning about 3 Anglo-Maratha War and 2 Anglo-Sikh War. In this session, I am going to teach only about Anglo-Maratha War. Is that clear, children, now? So first we will learn about the first Anglo-Maratha War, which took place in the year 1775 to 1782. So remember, from 1775 to 1782, we are talking about the first Anglo-Maratha War. Shah Alam II, he was the Mughal emperor. After the Battle of Buxar, he was dethroned by the British. So once again, the Marathas supported him and helped to instill Shah Alam back on the throne of Mughal Empire in Delhi. So first remember, Shah Alam II was the Mughal emperor in Delhi. After the Battle of Buxar, he was thrown out of Delhi. So Marathas supported him, Shah Alam II, back on the throne of Mughal Empire in Delhi with the help of Maratha. Now we will learn about detail about the first Anglo-Maratha War. Shah Alam was supported by Maratha ruler and he became the Mughal emperor in Delhi. After this, Shah Alam was very happy with the Mughal ruler and he gave them two places, and those two places were Kora and Halaba. These are the two places which he gave to the Maratha ruler because they supported him and helped him to capture Delhi once again. So in return he gave them Kora and Halabad to the Maratha ruler. But already Kora and Allahabad was given to the English by Shah Alam. Before itself, Shah Alam had given Kora and Allahabad to the British. So due to this, the enmity developed between the Maratha and English. From here, the enmity develops between the Maratha and English. Is that clear, children? Till here you understood? Now we will talk about the Maratha. So Maratha was ruled by Madhav Rao Peshwa. But before the first Anglo-Maratha War itself, Madhav Rao had died and who was a very strong person in Maratha. But he died before the first Anglo-Maratha War. After Madhav Rao, his brother came to the throne, Narayana Rao. After Madhav Rao, it is Narayana Rao who came to the throne. He was murdered by his uncle Raghuba, who is also known as Raghunath Rao. Maratha Federation did not like Raghunath Rao to be the next Peshwa. Raghunath Rao approached the British for support. The British thought of exploiting this situation in their favor. Raghunath Rao took the help of the British. British took the advantage of this situation and exploited them. And this war was waged from 1775 to 1782. It was a long war between the English and Maratha. So remember, children, first the Maratha rule you have to remember. Who were the rulers? Madhav Rao. After that, Narayan Rao. After Narayan Rao, Raghunath Rao, who was not supported by the Maratha Federation. He took the help of English. English took the advantage of this situation and the war took place 1775 to 1782 between Maratha and British. Now, in the beginning of the war, you can see that initial stage, what we call it. In the beginning of the war, the initial stage, the Maratha gained the upper hand. That means like they were the winner of the war. And they were the winner. But later, in the end, if you see, Maratha lost the battle. British won the battle. And British was able to get Allahabad under their control. So, this is a result of the first Anglo-Maratha War. So, remember, the war was fought between Maratha and the British. In initial stage, Maratha gained the upper hand. Whereas later, they lost Allahabad to British. Now, due to this, Maratha was forced to sign a treaty of Salbai. So remember, you will say Treaty of Salbai, a Salbai agreement. Maratha had to sign to the English. According to this, Madhav Rao II was the next Peshwa. So remember, Madhav Rao II was the next Peshwa who was declared by the English. So remember, first Anglo-Maratha War, you have to explain about Shah Alam, who was supported by Maratha and he was instilled back to Delhi. After that, you have to explain about Madhav Rao, then Narayana Rao, Raghunath Rao, and taking the advantage of this situation, British waged a war against Maratha. And the Maratha Federation want Madhav Rao too, who is a son of Narayana Rao, him to be the next Peshwa. British was trying his best that Raghunath Rao should be the next Peshwa. So this was a situation for the first Anglo-Maratha War. Finally, Maratha will lose the battle. British won the battle. And it was concluded with the Treaty of Salbai. According to the treaty, Madhav Rao too was the next Peshwa. Have you understood, children, of first Anglo-Maratha War? Now we will learn about the second Anglo-Maratha War. The second Anglo-Maratha War was waged in the year 1803 to 1805. In the second Anglo-Maratha War, if you see, there was difference among the Maratha chieftains, that is among the Maratha rulers. When you say Maratha kingdom, does not mean it was ruled by one particular person. It was divided into many kingdoms and many rulers were ruling Maratha. So this was the situation in Maratha kingdom. So many chieftains in Maratha had the difference. Due to this, the second Anglo-Maratha War took place. And the war was between Yashwantrao of Holkar and Daulat Rao of Scindia. With him, Peshwa Bajirao also supported him. So remember, one side it is Yashwantrao of Holkar, the other side two people are there. That is Daulat Rao of Scindia and Peshwa Bajirao too. So one side it is Yashwantrao, Holkar, and the other side you will see Daulat Rao of Scindia, Peshwa Bajirao. So two people in one side, the other side is only one person. Finally, the war was waged between each other and Yashwantrao of Holkar won the battle. The second Anglo-Maratha War was fought in the year 1803 to 1805. The main reason for the war was there was a difference among the Maratha chieftain. Yashwantrao of Holkar declares a war against Daulat Rao of Scindia. He was accompanied by Peshwa Bajirao too. And the war was declared in the year 1802. And finally, Yashwantrao of Holkar won the battle. Now you understood, children? The next we will learn about the war. Even after this, the war does not stop, it continues. Peshwa took the help of the British. As the Peshwa lost the battle, he took the help of the British. Till here, have you understood? So finally, who will support him? If you see, who supported him was Lord Wellesley. Lord Wellesley got an opportunity and supported the Maratha. Peshwa was forced to sign treaty, and the treaty was Treaty of Basin, and in that he accepted subsidiary alliance. Peshwa took the help of English. Lord Wellesley took the situation as an opportunity and exploited it by forcing Balaji Rao to sign the Treaty of Basin. in that he accepted subsidiary alliance. Is that clear, children, till here? After this, most of the Maratha family did not like Baji Rao accepting subsidiary alliance, and they fought in a battle with the English. The family which fought a battle with the English was Holkar, Gwalior, Bhonsle. They were against the treaty. They fought in a battle with the English. They lost and English won the battle. But during this war, English had spent lot of money, and this led to financial burden during this war. Due to this, Lord Wellesley was called back to England. He resigned his job and went to England. Is that clear, children? Have you understood till here? So remember, first you have to explain about Yashwantrao, Daulatrao and Peshwa Bajirao. Yashwantrao one side, the other side Bajirao and Daulatrao of Scindia fought the battle against Holkar. So Holkar won the battle. Peshwa took the help of English. Lord Wellesley took the advantage of this situation and exploited. He forced Peshwa to sign Treaty of Basin. According to Treaty of Basin, Baji Rao has to accept subsidiary alliance. This was not liked by Maratha family. And if you see who are the Maratha family was Holkar, Gwalior and Bhonsle. They oppose this treaty. Due to this, they had fought and battled with English from 1803 to 1805. Finally, English won the battle, but it was a financial burden for English. Due to this, Lord Wellesley had to resign his post and return to England. So this is Second Anglo-Maratha War. Next we will learn about the Third Anglo-Maratha War. All the families of Maratha tried to protect their kingdom. This shows clearly that all the Maratha rulers joined together and fought a battle against the English. They wanted independent kingdom. They wanted freedom from English. So this led to Third Anglo-Maratha War. So they tried their best to free from the clutches of English. So first attack here, we will have 3 points to learn in Third Anglo-Maratha War. Third Anglo-Maratha War was fought in the year 1817 to 1818. And remember, you have to remember 3 points to explain here. First one is Peshwa attacks the British residency in Pune and burnt it down. So first attack was the Peshwa attacked the British residence in Pune and burnt it down. The second point to be remembered in this, Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malar Rao Holkar rebelled against the British. So remember, second point you have to explain about Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malar Rao Holkar rebelled against the British. This is the second point. Third point you have to remember about Peshwa Baji Rao II fought battle against the English at two places, Koregaon and Ashti. In these two places he fought the battle against the English and surrendered to the British. So remember 3 points you have to explain in the third Anglo-Maratha War. First one, Peshwa attacked the British resident in Pune and burnt it down. First point. Second one, Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao of Holkar rebelled against English and they were suppressed ruthlessly. And after this next point you have to remember about Peshwa Baji Rao II, who fought a battle against the English in two different places. One, Goregaon and Ashti, where he was forced to surrender to the British. So these are the 3 points you have to remember about the third Anglo-Maratha War. Next, if you see, British abolished the Peshwa post and Baji Rao II was granted pension. Peshwa post was abolished and Baji Rao II was given a pension. Is that clear, children? And next one is Pratap Singh. He was given a small state by the English and he was a descendant of Shivaji. So remember Pratap Singh, who was given a small state by the English as he was a traditional leader. And the next one you have to remember, the most important, after the 3 Anglo-Maratha War, the entire Maratha was suppressed by the English. So this is how the British occupied entire Maratha kingdom. The third Anglo-Maratha War, which was fought in the year 1817 to 1818. Here, the entire Maratha family joined together and they will fight the battle against the British for independence of Maratha kingdom. You have to remember 3 points of this. First one, about the Peshwa attacked the British resident in Pune. Second one, Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao of Holkar, who were suppressed. And third point you have to remember, Peshwa Baji Rao, who fought the battle against the English in two places, Goregaon and Ashti, where he was forced to surrender to British. And then British decided to give pension to Baji Rao II. And Peshwa post was abolished. After that, Pratap Singh, who is the descendant of Shivaji, he was given a minuscule state. And later, the entire Maratha kingdom went under the control of English. Is that clear, children? Have you learned the 3 Anglo-Maratha War? Which are the other places after Maratha they were able to conquer, and these places had come under the control of British. So those places were Sindh, Awadh and many other states through doctrine of lapse and subsidiary alliance. Not only that, through waging war, they were able to expand their kingdom in India. So you saw in this topic, English was able to expand the kingdom through 3 expansion policies. 1, waging war, subsidiary alliance, and the last one, doctrine of lapse. So remember, if they ask you a question, which are the expansion policy adopted by English to expand their empire in India? Remember, waging war, subsidiary alliance, and the last one is doctrine of lapse. Now we will start with assignment. The first question in assignment, explain the reason for 1 Anglo-Maratha War. The reason you have to explain about Shah Alam. Shah Alam, who was thrown out of Delhi when after he was defeated in the Battle of Buxar. Later, with the support of Maratha, he was instilled back on the throne of Mughal Empire in Delhi. You have to write this reason. The second reason you have to say is Shah Alam gave Kora and Allahabad to Maratha, which he had earlier given to English. So remember this, children. So these are the 2 points you will write, and due to that, enmity will develop between Maratha and the British. So these are the points which you are going to write in the first assignment. Have you understood? With that, you can elaborate it saying that explaining from Madhav Rao, then you will write about Narayana Rao. After explaining about Narayana Rao, Raghunath Rao took the help of English. And British took the advantage of this situation and exploited. And you have to explain that Madhav Rao waged a war against the English. Finally, you can see that they were forced to sign a treaty of Salbai Agreement. And Madhav Rao too was the next Peshwa. So these are the points what you have to write in the first question. Though they have asked only the reason, but you will explain entire about first Anglo-Maratha War, which took place in the year 1775 to 1782. Now we will start with the second question which is there in the assignment. So here the second question, it's regarding the third Anglo-Maratha War. You have to explain detailing about the third Anglo-Maratha War, starting from in which year it was fought. Fought in the year 1817 to 1880. And next you have to remember the Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and honor. Even the Peshwa had joined hands with these people and tried to free Maratha from the clutches of British. So you have to remember about these points. Then after that, as I told you, 3 points you have to explain here. 3 important points in the third Anglo-Maratha War. First one is you will explain about the Peshwa burnt the British resident. Burnt the British residence, you have to remember about, which is located in Pune. After that, the next you have to explain about Appa Sahib and Malhar Rao of Holkar. You have to explain about them, how ruthlessly they were suppressed. Later, you will write about Bajirao II fought a battle with English in 2 different places. So, which are those 2 different places, children? Goregaon and Ashti. In those 2 places, they fought the battle. And finally, Bajirao II was surrendered. And this is the end of third Anglo-Maratha War. But you have to explain here the result of Maratha War. So, the first one is you have to remember here is the British abolished Peshwa post. First point. Second point, granted a pension to Bajirao II. These 2 points will come under the result. Now I am explaining about the result. Remember, I am explaining about the result. First I explained about the cause, then I explained about the cause, and the third one is about the result I am explaining now. So remember, British abolished the Peshwa post, and the next one is granted a pension to Bajirao. And next you will explain about Pratap Singh, who was a descendant of Shivaji as a ruler of Satara. And a a mini school state and named him as a traditional leader of Maratha. And entire kingdom of Maratha was controlled by the British after the Third Anglo-Maratha War. So remember, these are the points you have to remember. Children, remember, in the war they can ask you 3 questions. 1, it will be regarding causes. What was the reason or causes you have to explain. Next one is, what happened in the war, we call it as cause. So what happened in the war you have to explain. Here when I explained about the Third Anglo War, I told you 3 points to be remembered. That will come under cause of the war. And this point will come under the result. So these are the 3 things you have to remember in a war. So whenever you are learning about the war, divide it into 3 portions. First, what is the reason for the war, you will learn it. After learning about that, what happened in the war, you will learn. And the last one is the result. So this is how you have to learn about the war. Is that clear, children? So this is the end of the session. The next session I will start with Anglo-Sikh War, subsidiary alliance. Though subsidiary alliance was explained in between, I will explain it in the next session, as well as doctrine of lapse. So remember, children, these are the points you have to remember in this session. Mainly about the 3 Anglo-Maratha War. I told you how to divide those 3 wars. So remember, whenever you learn a war, cause and the result, you have to learn it. This is the way you will learn it. Thank you, children. Next session we will meet. Thank you.